hook. You've spent years preparing your academic dreams, aced your exams, perfected your college applications, and finally received that golden acceptance letter from a US university. But then, your F1 visa gets rejected within minutes. What went wrong? Today we're going inside the mind of a real US visa officer, revealing the instant red flags that can destroy your chances in a matter of seconds. Whether you're applying soon, know someone who is or are just curious about how brutally fast these decisions happen, this is the one video you can't afford to skip. Let's break down exactly what they look for, how they decide, and the shocking truths they'll never tell you, until now. Section 1. Understanding the F1 visa interview. It's not what you think. Most students imagine the F1 visa interview as a casual conversation, a formality. You walk in, hand over your documents, smile politely, and answer a few questions. But what really happens is very different. A former consular officer based in New Delhi revealed that officers typically have less than 2 minutes to make a decision. That's not a myth. It's backed by internal processing benchmarks at the US State Department. Within that tiny window, officers are trained to scan for red flags immediately, often before you say a single word. Your demeanor, your body language, the consistency of your story, and even how you hold your documents. These are being judged in real time. They're not just checking your qualifications, they're asking one big question. Will this person return to their home country after their studies? If your profile suggests uncertainty around that, you're likely to be denied on the spot. Section 2. The number one instant rejection trigger. Weak home ties. F1 visa decisions rely heavily on Section 214B of the U.S. Immigration and Nationality Act. This clause assumes every visa applicant is intending to immigrate unless proven otherwise. Your job during the interview? Prove that you are not. How do you do that? By showing strong home country ties, economic, family, career, or social commitments that would force you to return once your degree is complete. Visa officers are trained to reject on the spot if you appear financially unstable, overly desperate to stay in the US, disconnected from your home country, e.g., no property, no career plans back home. And this is where many brilliant students fail. They get so caught up in selling their dream of studying in the US that they forget to convince the officer they'll come back. One officer described a case where a 19-year-old engineering student from Bangladesh had full funding, excellent English, and a top-tier US admit. But his father had just sold land to pay tuition, and his entire extended family was already in the US. He was instantly denied due to immigrant intent. Section 3. Bad English, bad intentions. This may surprise you, but another instant rejection factor is poor English communication. You don't need to be fluent, but if you can't confidently express why you chose your university, what your course is about, how it aligns with your career, it raises serious red flags. Why? Because officers assume that if you're unable to handle a short interview in English, you're unlikely to survive in a US academic environment. Worse, some might suspect you're using the student visa as a pretext to enter and stay illegally. One consular officer in Nigeria recalled a student who froze during the interview, even though he had good grades. He couldn't explain what computer science was. Rejected. Section 4. The trap of overcoaching and memorized answers. Here's a shocker. If you sound too rehearsed, that can also get you rejected. Visa officers can smell scripted answers from a mile away. If you answer like this, "My purpose of visiting the United States is to pursue my higher education in the field of management, to enhance my skills and contribute to the economy of my home country." Boom, rejected. Officers want authenticity, not robotic perfection. If your tone, pace, or answers feel unnatural, especially if they don't align with your documents, they might think you're hiding something. A US officer in Mumbai once said, "We're not looking for the perfect answer. We're looking for the real one." Section 5. Financial red flags. More common than you think. Another major reason for instant rejection: suspicious or weak financial proof. Let's break this down. Funds must match or exceed the I-20 amount. They must come from credible, explainable sources like parents' jobs or personal savings. Sudden inflows of money into an account days before the interview? Huge red flag. One student from Pakistan presented a bank statement showing $45,000, but it had been deposited only 3 days earlier, and the account had no history. Denied. Visa officers are trained to investigate inconsistencies in finances, and yes, they do sometimes verify banks and incomes via background checks. Also, don't try to hide sponsors. If your uncle is paying, say it. If it's a loan, disclose it. Any evasion leads to one word from the officer: refused. Section 6. Weak purpose of study. If you can't explain it, you're out many. Students fail to explain why they chose their course, or worse, don't even know what their course is. You must know what you're going to study. Why that course, why that specific university, and how it ties to your long-term career. If your answers are vague, like, because it's a good course, or I like the subject, you will be rejected. Instantly. One consular officer shared how a student who had chosen biomedical engineering couldn't explain what it meant. He thought it involved hospital management. Denied. Instantly. Section 7. Body language mistakes that can doom. You instantly. Your documents might be perfect. Your funding is strong. Your English is fluent, but your body language could still betray you. Visa officers are highly trained in behavioral psychology. They watch for excessive fidgeting, avoiding eye contact, over-smiling, clutching documents, tightly nervous, inconsistent pauses. These aren't just nerves. They're taken as signs of dishonesty or lack of confidence, especially if combined with scripted answers. Stand upright. Make calm, confident eye contact. Speak clearly. Officers don't expect you to be a TED speaker. They just want to see that you're genuine. Section 8. Lies, inconsistencies, or hidden relatives in the U.S. Here's a warning. If you lie, even a small white lie, and they catch it, you're not just rejected, you're banned. If your application says no relatives in the U.S., but you mention your sister lives in New York during the interview, that's an instant. 214B rejection. All databases are connected. The DS-160 form, your passport history, SEVIS info, even past rejections. They see it all. One applicant told the officer he'd never traveled abroad, but his passport had a UK visa stamp from 2018. Busted, rejected. Section 9. The officers. Perspective. What they're really thinking. Let's flip the script. Imagine you're the officer. You have 200 applicants a day, most of them nervous, some untruthful, and many just following a script. You have 2 minutes per case. Your primary mission? Protect the U.S. from illegal immigration. That means you're not just evaluating qualifications, you're judging intent. In those 2 minutes, if you sense even the smallest mismatch between what the applicant says, looks like, and what their papers say, you go with the safest route. Refusal. It's not always fair, but it's the system. Outrow. So what's the lesson here? If you're applying for an F1 visa, it's not just about your documents or dreams. It's about how convincingly you show that you'll return home, how honestly you tell your story, and how clearly you align your purpose of study with your future. The visa officer is not your enemy. They're just doing a job with limited time and tough expectations. But now that you know what goes on behind that glass window, you can walk into your interview prepared, authentic, and confident. Because the difference between a dream realized and a rejection slip could be just one wrong answer, or one genuine one. Stay smart, stay honest, and if this helped you, share it with someone who needs it. References. 1. U.S. Department of State. F1 Visa Guidelines. https travel.state.gov.content. Travel EN US Visas. Study Student Visa. HTML2. Section 214B. Explained https travel.state.gov content. Travel and use visas, visa information, resources, visa denials. HTML3. Ex-consular officers share interview red flags via Reddit AMA, https www.reddit.com R Immigration. Comments: PGSDL7I AM, AA former Consular Officer AMA,